If your goal is to lose fat, look fit, feel better, and get better than yesterday, then this video is for you. Many people work really hard in the gym or probably do a lot of exercise, but they don't really understand how does the fat loss works. What are the few principles that you need to follow? And actually, I get to see a lot of people so many years looking the same thing and being consistent with their workout routine. I'm exactly going to break down how does the science works, how does the numbers works behind it. And I would say pretty much it's all about the numbers, understanding the overall method, how does the human body works. In a few minutes, we will explain why people gain fat, how fat loss scientifically works, what results you can realistically expect, how boot camp and Pilates help, the role of exercise, nutrition, sleep and recovery, what habits create long-term success. Let's begin. Why have you gained fat? So you haven't gained fat overnight. When your body actually gets extra amount of energy that starts storing into the form of fat, understanding that can get utilized in the future. So we get energy from food, the drinks that we consume. It could be any energy drink or probably anything that you talk about, juice, anything. And your body understands that I need about certain amount of energy for a certain activity in a certain day. When your body gets extra amount of energy, which is ideally calories, it starts storing from the point of view that I need to save this energy for the future use. What if there is not enough amount of energy? Exact the way we save money for the retirement, assuming that what if I don't work at that point of time, I can actually use the saving that I have to survive the situation. Similar manner, body exactly works in the same logic. Now, in the sense that when your body doesn't get enough amount of energy, the body will start breaking down the stored fat into the form of energy. So that's exactly what we need to be calorie deficit. So for example, say you burn about, on averagely, if you're doing an activity, you would burn anywhere from about say 300 to 500 calories. So of course, the more the duration that you spend, more the heart rate, more the intensity, you will burn more calories. But let's assume that you are burning about anywhere from 300 to 500 calories. Then you have something called as a BMR or an RMR, that stands for basal metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate. And that's exactly the amount of calories that the body burns on an average day to probably do the internal functions and doing the normal activities around the day. So that could be assumed as about somewhere about say 1200 to 1400 or maximum up to about 1600 based on your body weight, your activity level. Athletes has the higher amount of calorie output because, or the BMR, because they are physically very, very active. Now, when you calculate this one up, you have the numbers as your BMR, 1500 calories for now, and then you have say 1500 calories from the exercise that you've done. Now, let's say you want to consume about 1500 calories. The extra 500 calories that you burn through the entire day would be from the source of fat. Now, that's about one method of looking into it. There are multiple methods and there are multiple things to be understood to really achieve the complete fat loss goal. Let's deep dive into it. Why you become fat? The common reasons include sedentary lifestyle, excess calorie consumption, lack of physical activity, poor sleep, stress, hormonal imbalances, inconsistent eating habits. Most people don't gain fat because of one meal. They gain fat because of repeated habits of months and years. What is body fat? Body fat is simply stored energy. Approximately 1 kilogram of body fat contains around 7,700 calories. This means to lose 1 kg of body fat, your body must create approximately a 7,700 calories deficit over time through a combination of exercise, daily activity, nutrition management. Fat loss is not about starving, it's about creating a sustainable calorie deficit while maintaining muscle and health. How fast can you lose fat? Well, this is based on a lot of factors. Your gender, your eating habits, your exercise habit, your fitness levels, and your overall hormone balance. So I would say that if you can manage everything very well and you can really prioritize your fat loss is one of the major aspects of it, you can actually start seeing really good results. And at the same time, everything from the point of view of that, your sleeping pattern, your meditation, your clarity about the focus, like from the point of view that when you have a vision board and you've written down something on the vision board saying that I want to lose about say this many kg of weight, once you have the complete understanding about exactly what is realistically achievable. So from the point of view of that, once you know the numbers behind it, like from the point of view that what is the calorie deficit, and this much of number of kg I can lose every month. From the point, that should be realistic. Once you meet the number, you're actually becoming more confident to continue the journey of your fat loss. As a trainer, most of the time I see a lot of people do start this New Year resolution and do that for about a couple of weeks. and then they give up because the goal is so big and they don't get to meet the goal and they give up on the way, right? So what do you do that? Realistic numbers towards your goal of fat loss. Let me make you understand in detail about what exactly we meant by that. Now, when you are starting off, the initial fat loss is definitely, or probably weight loss is definitely much more easier. The reason being is that your body actually holds a lot of water. Could be because of you consuming alcohol. You see that retention on your face. Similar manner, when your body has more of glycogen through the carbohydrates, you start holding on to a lot of water in your liver as well as in your muscle. And that we call as muscle glycogen. And when you have that muscle glycogen, or probably there's a lot of glycogen around the muscles, you actually feel yourself as a little puffy. So when you start following a strict regime of diet, or probably say when you're following a low calorie or calorie deficit diet, you start seeing that subcutaneous fat, the retention to be going off. So initial fat loss, the weight loss is much more easier. Generally, based on the subcutaneous fat that you have, you start seeing the numbers. So if someone is about, say, very fat or very overweight, that person would see a bigger number. And if a person is comparatively not much overweight, that person would see a comparatively lesser number on the scale. From the point of view of that, you can actually assume somewhere about, say, anywhere from 2 kg up to about 6 kg in the first month itself. It's purely based on what's your current situation. Let me break that number based on the science now. A healthy and sustainable rate of fat loss is about half kg to 1 kg per week, which means that 2 to 4 kg a month, 6 to 12 kg over 3 months, and 12 to 24 kg over 6 months. Results can differ based on starting weight, body fat percentage, consistency, sleep quality, nutrition, stress levels. The goal is not rapid weight loss, the goal is sustainable fat loss. The 3 stages of fat loss. Stage 1, adaptation. Week 1 to 2, the body is adjusting. You may feel increased soreness, improved energy, better mobility, improved mood. Many changes are happening internally even before they become visible. Stage 2, visible progress. Week 3 to 8. Most people begin noticing clothes fitting better, reduced bloating, improved stamina, increased confidence, visible fat loss. This is where consistency becomes critical. Stage 3, transformation. Week 8 to 24 plus. At this stage, body fat percentage decreases significantly, muscle definition improves, strength increases, posture improves, overall fitness improves. The body begins looking noticeably leaner and more athletic. Okay, this is something very important. This is about aerobic and anaerobic exercise. Now, when you do these kind of exercises, the body uses different systems or energy systems to do the activity. So it's very important that you really understand that what has to be done and how much it has to be done. What is aerobic exercise? Aerobic exercise uses oxygen as the primary energy source. Example, walking, jogging, cycling, rowing, continuous movements through workouts, which pretty much that we do it at sweat Pilates or sweat boot camps. Benefits, burn calories, improves heart health, improves endurance, supports fat loss. What is anaerobic exercise? Anaerobic exercise involves short bursts of higher intensity efforts. Example, strength training, sprints, resistance exercise, high intensity intervals. Benefits, build muscles, increases metabolism, improves strength, help maintain muscle during fat loss. The best results usually come from combining both aerobic and anaerobic training. So when you actually work out at sweat boot camp or sweat Pilates, you're pretty much working out all the time with the resistance, except the dominant classes which focus on the mobility, right? Still, if you're using mobility as an aspect, we're using resistance bands, or on the reformer, we're actually using those springs. So at sweat, in any given point of time, you're almost using resistance all the given point of time. And if in case you've noticed that, you're moving from one station to another station at a very limited time period, which means that you're going to keep the heart rate all the time up. That's going to let your heart become more stronger, more fitter, which is one of the most important aspects of your fitness. At the same time, it improves your muscle endurance. Okay, that's about doing an activity making you functionally fit. Now let's speak about this having an effect on the fat loss. So as you are constantly moving, you are more or less falling into the category of anaerobic as well as aerobic, because you're moving back to back, you're in the aerobic zone, but at the same time you're lifting weights, you're pretty much creating that muscle growth or hypertrophy or building those muscle fibers to become more stronger. That creates a bit of anaerobic. But when you have a goal which is dominantly towards fat loss, you want to incorporate a pure cardio-based routine, which could be that early in the morning in an empty stomach, you are going for a jog, ideally 5 or 8 kilometer, or probably cycling up to about say 10 or 15 or up to about 20 kilometers. You need to really figure out what do you enjoy the most and where you can stick around that for a longer period of time. Now, when you're actually doing these activities at the fastest stage, your body has the minimum amount of glycogen and the body can tap into the fat storage at the earliest possible. That is the reason to suggest you the cardio or probably aerobic activity, which is oxygen-used activities in the early morning. And then you want to keep your sweat bootcamp, sweat Pilates programs in the evening, or probably you finish those cardio activities in the morning, get home, have a nice meal, and then come to the sweat outlet to work out. Now you're actually got the cardio benefits, then you're still working on the other benefits of the fitness parameters. So this will summarize to be a great programming. What should you expect from Sweat Bootcamp and Sweat Pilates? Well, these programs are really thoughtful, at the same time spend a lot of years in building it up. We have different categories of program in Sweat Bootcamp and Sweat Pilates, catering to the different requirements of the individual based on the fitness levels. So we have Sweat Stretch, which actually focuses on the core conditioning and mobility. This turned out to be really important. Then we have Sweat Total in Pilates, which actually is about lifting weights, which is about resistance based. It creates more intensity and letting you build up lean tissues of muscle fibers and letting you burn more calories. Sweat Athletical moves into the direction of letting you become functionally more fit. Everything is intense, keeping the heart rate up to about 160, 170. Sweat Athletic focuses on functional fitness or making you functionally more fit. Keeping the heart rate about 180 plus, focus on all the aspects of pretty much fitness. Now about Sweat Bootcamps, we have Drastic Transformation Program, which focuses dominantly on almost all the aspects of fitness, dominantly towards a lot of lifting weights, burning a lot of calories, letting you run on the treadmill and cycle. And along with that, we have Foundation. Foundation teaches you the basics of the movement pattern, how to create a movement pattern, what are the few things you need. For example, say, I want you to sit on a chair, but if your muscles are really tight, you can't sit down on a chair, which is ideally a little more deeper, right? So Foundation will set you up into the movement pattern and letting your muscles learn that movement pattern and making the muscles more longer, more stretchable. So once the muscles are more longer and stretchable, they can actually create better movement patterns. And in bootcamp, we have Sweat Hybrid. That's going to be a great combination of all the Viper, TRX, kettlebells, all these kind of movement patterns would come into the picture, which means that that's going to be even more intense, making you even more flexible. Let me get you exactly in detail what exactly the main focuses, or probably when we make this programming, what goes behind our head, or what are the few calculations that we have behind this Sweat Bootcamp or Sweat Pilates programming. Sweat Bootcamp combines cardio, strength training, functional movement, high calorie expenditure workouts. Benefits: higher calorie burn, improved stamina, increased strength, better athletical performance, accelerated fat loss. Perfect for individuals looking for fat loss, fitness improvement, conditioning, energy enhancement. What should you expect from Sweat Pilates? Pilates focus on core strength, mobility, posture, stability, control movement. Benefits: better posture, improved flexibility, reduced body aches, strength, stronger core, better movement quality. Pilates complements bootcamp exceptionally well. Together, they create a stronger, leaner, and more balanced your body. All right, let's look into beyond fat loss and weight loss. Most people join for fat loss, but benefit extend far beyond the scale. As you remain consistent, you may notice better posture, better confidence, increased energy, improved focus, better mobility, better daily movement, reduced stress. Exercise improves both physical and mental well-being. Importance of sleep. In metro cities, we rarely sleep. We're pretty much busy with work, if not busy with Netflix. But it's time to really look into sleep and how much impact the sleep actually has towards your goals of fitness. Sleep is one of the most important overlooked factors in fat loss. Poor sleep can negatively affect hormones responsible for hunger, recovery, energy levels, cravings. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. People who sleep better often recover better, control hunger better, maintain consistency better, achieve superior fat loss results. Nutrition, this is a huge subject. Let's understand this one. People take gym membership or they join gym or any fitness programs is purely based on results. If there's a requirement of you losing weight or probably looking better, nobody would ever invest into a membership. Let's understand how many of them really get to the goal. The reason being is that they have invested in the membership, they come and work out, but they have a very poor understanding when it comes to nutrition. At the same time, what you've been fed is about a lot of information through the marketing about the proteins, but you don't need to really fully focus on the protein that I need to have this much of protein. But do you even know that when you consume that protein, how much calories are you consuming it? For example, say, let's consider you consuming protein the whole day. but you're still not losing weight. Let's understand the reason behind it. 1 gram of protein and carbs has about 4 calories, wherein 1 gram of fat has about 9 calories. So when you cook food, for example, say you're cooking a paneer or a chicken, you have to still use oil. Now, do you know that how many grams of oil that you're using, or what exactly the calories that comes from the oil? You don't know about it. Now you're only looking at the point of view of the protein that has to be eaten, because you know that it's something to do with muscles. It's very important that whether it's protein, whether it's carbs, whether it's fats, you need to really understand the numbers. It's a number game, okay? But being said, nutrition is the most important thing that you need to know about it when you're really looking for to achieve fat loss as an outcome. Let's deep dive into it a bit in detail about the nutrition effects and what has to be done with the nutrition. No exercise program can fully compensate for poor nutrition. Focus on protein with every meal, fruits and vegetables, adequate water intake, whole foods, consistency. Avoid focusing on perfection. Focus on consistency. Now, what does it mean? It means that protein is definitely building blocks, which means that if you're working really hard by working out in the gym or in a fitness scenario, you're actually breaking the muscle fibers at a microscopic level. Now, what does it mean is that this muscle needs to recover because you worked hard, you have a lot of onset muscle soreness, and those muscle fibers are broken at a very minute level. They have to recover by using the protein. So when the protein breaks down, it becomes amino acids, and all the amino acids has its own function in the body. So now when those muscles recover, they become stronger and better. Protein is important, but the way you're eating protein is something very important. So let's talk about bodybuilders or people who are like very ripped fitness models. They actually eat, just to give you a little idea about it, boiled chicken and boiled vegetables, okay? Which means that the calorie intake that they consume is going to be way much lesser, because the fat consumption, they actually use the spray oil. They don't even pour the oil onto the pan to cook something. So that's the kind of clarity that they have. That's the reason they look in a certain manner. On the other hand, we're talking about fruits. So now in fruits, you need to understand something about glycemic index. So like a watermelon has a very high level of glycemic index that can spike the insulin at a very high rate. So you want to choose the fruits which are not really spiking the insulin at that rate. So it could be something like berries. Avocado also comes in the family of fruit, so you may want to consume. Water. This is something that we always neglect. Now, you drink water when you're thirsty. You being thirsty is a sign the body is saying that I'm already dehydrated. So you don't want to wait to become thirsty to drink water. You want to drink water as in it's in kind of you're getting up, you're brushing your teeth, you're taking shower. It has to be a process. You want to make it a point that you're consuming a certain amount of water. That's about, say, anywhere about 3 to 5 liters. Of course, based on your activity, your thought process, you want a skin quality, then you may want to drink water based on that. So the take home is that no matter what, how much of work hard that you're doing in the fitness parameters, if your nutrition doesn't fall in the exact picture, the way it is supposed to be, you will not get results. So more than taking the membership, more than falling into an exercise routine, it's important that you know your numbers. Do your working, know your numbers, have it written down somewhere about in a vision board, but achievable goal. I would say anyone who comes to fitness, the most important thing is about inspiration or the motivation. If you know that exactly what you're doing and you can meet those numbers, you'll be always inspired to be in that shape. When you work at Sweat, we don't tell them about let's lose about 10 kg, let's get in a good shape. We tell them about adapting this lifestyle change forever, that you can be in that great shape forever. That's exactly the mistake that most of the people do it, because they have a short time goal of 1 month, I want to lose about 10 kg. Now they've done about harsh diet and they lost about 10 kg, but the next week itself they gain back all those kgs because they've done with the goal of only achieving that 10 kg weight loss. The goal is not about 10 kg weight loss. The goal is about adapting a beautiful lifestyle that you can sustain forever. The reason being is that you have gained weight not because of one day of eating, it's because of an inappropriate eating pattern and lifestyle over a period of weeks, months and years. That's exactly what you're looking for to change in this section over here. At the same time at Sweat, the most successful member follow a simple formula: exercise consistently, eat mindfully, sleep well, stay patient, equal to sustainable fat loss and long-term results. Your transformation takes place over a few days where you're actually building fitness, over a few weeks where you're seeing physical changes, over a few months where you're actually becoming fit. It does take time. All you need is about great clarity, great action plan, and patience. Your transformation happens through hundreds of small decisions repeated consistently. Every workout, every healthy meal, every good night's sleep, every commitment you make to yourself. Stay consistent, trust the process, and focus on becoming stronger, healthier, better than you were yesterday. We look forward to helping you become the best version of yourself. Welcome to Sweat Fit Wellness.